Have you heard that oats are good for your health? But what if I told you that the way many people consume them, they could be harming you? It might seem strange to hear this right off the bat, especially if you're one of those people who trust oats as a healthy food, a diet ally, and a friend to your heart. But the truth is that thousands of elderly people are experiencing daily discomfort, body imbalances, and even worsening of chronic conditions because of some common mistakes that nobody talks about. And the worst part, they think they're doing the right thing. In many breakfasts out there, oats are a guaranteed presence. They're inexpensive, easy to prepare, seem light, and give that feeling of taking care of your body. They appear in porridge, juice, yogurt, mixed with fruits, with milk, with honey, and they're famous for helping the intestines, controlling cholesterol, and providing energy. With so many benefits being repeated all the time, who would be suspicious? Especially in old age, when all we want is a practical, nutritious food that fits into our routine. This is exactly why Mrs. Martha, 74 years old, decided to change her breakfast. After watching some videos and hearing tips from acquaintances, she cut out bread, cheese, and even coffee with sugar. Instead, she started eating oatmeal porridge made with great care. In the first few days, she felt satisfied and even a bit proud. After all, she was taking care of her health, as so many people say. But soon the bloating began. Her stomach would get swollen, her bowels irregular, and her fatigue increased. She thought it was age, then blamed other foods, then thought maybe she had some infection. She even stopped going out for walks, afraid of feeling discomfort on the street. And she never imagined that the problem could be precisely in that change she believed was so positive. And before you think this is rare, know that thousands of people are going through the same situation. The intention to improve health is genuine, but often information is lacking. What should do good ends up not bringing the expected result. And sometimes, instead of helping, it ends up hindering. The body gives signals, but we don't always know how to interpret them. And since nobody talks about these details, things just stay that way. Perhaps you've felt something similar. That feeling that you're doing everything right, but the results don't show up. Or worse, unexpected symptoms begin to appear, discomforts that didn't exist before, a feeling that something is wrong, but it's difficult to know what it is. And it's precisely in these moments that we need to stop and look more carefully. As years go by, the body changes, digestion gets slower, the intestines more sensitive, metabolism responds differently, and what worked before may not be doing well now. This is completely normal, but we need to know how to adapt, know how to listen to the body, know that even with good intentions, it's possible to be making some mistakes without realizing it. And yes, it's possible to correct all this with small changes. Many people think that taking care of nutrition in old age is just avoiding sweets or eating more salad. But sometimes the problem lies precisely in foods that have been labeled as healthy but require a certain care when consuming them. Nobody teaches this properly. It doesn't appear in commercials. It's not written on the label. We discover it through experience, through mistakes, and mainly through sincere conversations. What we want here is to open this space to talk with ease, with respect, with clarity, without fear, without guilt. Because making mistakes is normal. The important thing is to realize and adjust. And for that, we need to understand what might be going wrong. It's curious how, with time, many food beliefs become rooted. We start to repeat behaviors just because we saw someone do it, or because a television report said it was good. Few people stop to reflect whether it really works for their body, for their lifestyle, for their age. And this happens with oats too. Being an old, traditional food, it gained healthy status and remained there, untouchable, as if it were good for everyone, in any situation. But what is healthy for one may not be for another, especially when we talk about the phase of life when the body requires more care, more attention to signals. Sometimes, what's missing is not removing oats from your diet, but better understanding how your body is reacting, how they're being combined with other foods, and in what quantity they're being consumed. These nuances make all the difference. Think about how many times you've tried to change your diet with good intentions, Maybe you followed a tip from television, from a friend, from a neighbor, and still, the results didn't come. It's frustrating, isn't it? It gives a feeling of helplessness, that trying doesn't matter. But the truth is that often, these results don't appear because the change was made without considering your individual needs. And this is not your fault. It's lack of guidance, lack of frank conversation, accessible information, people who speak with respect and clarity. And that's what we want to offer here, a space where you can learn, understand, and mainly apply changes that make sense for your reality, without exaggerations, without complications, without magic formulas. Because taking care of health doesn't need to be difficult. It needs to be conscious. It needs to be with care. Mrs. Martha, whom we mentioned at the beginning, was very confused at first. She thought she was doing everything wrong, that trying wasn't worth it. But with a bit more information, she began to realize that just a few simple adjustments were enough. She didn't need to cut oats from her life. She just needed to look more carefully at what she was doing and understand what her body was saying. And today, with small changes, she feels better, lighter, with more energy. This can happen to you too. Because the good news is that there's always time to adjust. There's always a chance to start over. The body responds quickly when we care for it with respect, and each step in the right direction is already a victory. In the next segment, we'll deepen exactly that. We'll talk about the 5 main mistakes that many people are making with oats without realizing it. Details that seem small, but that have made all the difference in many people's lives. And stay calm, because at the end of this video, you will learn solutions that truly work. Simple solutions that you can apply in your daily life and that will help you enjoy all the benefits that oats have to offer without harming your health. Now that you understand the importance of observing these signs, let's continue together to discover where the main mistakes are and how to avoid them. When we start paying attention to the body's signals, many things that seemed confusing begin to make more sense. In the previous segment, we saw how some discomforts that affect the daily lives of many elderly, such as swelling, fatigue, variations in blood glucose, difficult digestion, or irregular bowels, may be linked to eating habits that were incorporated with good intentions, but without the necessary knowledge. And among these habits, oat consumption deserves special attention. Not because it's a bad food, far from it, but because when used incorrectly, it can indeed end up hindering instead of helping. Many people consume oats every day, believing they are doing a great good to their body. And indeed, oats have many benefits when used correctly. It's rich in soluble fiber, helps digestion, can aid in controlling cholesterol, and also contributes to a feeling of satiety. But the problem arises when the preparation method, the quantity, the accompaniments, and even the type chosen conflict with what the body really needs, especially with the more sensitive organism of those who are over 60. That's why now we're going to carefully look at 5 quite common misconceptions which go unnoticed by many people. These are habits that seem harmless, but that have caused discomfort, dysregulation, and even worsening of some health conditions, especially among the elderly. The first misconception is consuming instant oats with additives. This type of oats usually comes in ready-made packets, often with artificial fruit, chocolate, or honey flavor. The big issue here is that, to maintain that flavor and texture, these versions receive added sugar, colorings, preservatives, and other ingredients that aren't good for health. And these additives, besides making digestion difficult, can also cause glycemic spikes, which is especially dangerous for those who have diabetes or a tendency to develop insulin resistance. Even for those without a diagnosis, these frequent spikes in blood sugar contribute to fatigue, lack of energy, and even mood changes. And many people consume these products without realizing what's behind that sweet taste and the practicality that seems so advantageous. The second mistake is mixing oats with too much sugar or honey. It's common to see people putting a generous amount of honey in porridge or yogurt with oats. Sometimes the goal is just to make it tastier, but the truth is that this mixture transforms a healthy food into a real sugar bomb. And the problem is not just the sugar itself, but the overload it causes in the body, especially when ingested every day. In older people, metabolism is slower, Hormonal regulation no longer responds as before, and organs that control blood glucose, such as the pancreas, are already more overloaded. Not to mention that excess sugar also promotes inflammatory processes in the body, which can worsen joint pain, cardiovascular problems, and even compromise intestinal function. The third common mistake is consuming oats in excess, believing that because it's a light food, it can be eaten freely. This thinking is more common than it seems. Many people, when wanting to eat healthier, end up overdoing certain foods that have a good reputation. And with oats, this happens a lot. The problem is that, although healthy, it's also caloric and has a good amount of carbohydrates. When consumed in excess, it can hinder digestion, cause bloating, gas, and even weight gain. And when this happens, the person tends to feel frustrated because they expected to improve and end up feeling worse. All this creates a cycle of discouragement, especially when one doesn't understand where this discomfort comes from. The fourth mistake is using oats as a substitute for a complete meal. Some people, wanting to simplify their diet or reduce calories, replace lunch or dinner with a bowl of porridge, thinking they're doing something beneficial. But the body needs a variety of nutrients, proteins, good fats, vitamins, minerals, and oats alone don't meet this demand. The result of this substitution is a diet lacking in balance, which can cause weakness, muscle loss, irritability, and even more serious nutritional imbalances. The food may seem light, but if it's not accompanied by the right elements, it neither sustains nor nourishes as needed. The fifth mistake is not properly preparing oats before consuming them. Few people know, but raw oats contain substances called anti-nutrients, which hinder the absorption of some important minerals, such as iron, calcium, and zinc. Additionally, it can be difficult to digest for those with more sensitive intestines. When not soaked or cooked for sufficient time, it can cause gas, bloating, and even constipation. And curiously, many people, upon feeling these symptoms, think the fault lies with another food, or even with their own body, without imagining that the preparation method is directly linked to these discomforts. These 5 habits are more common than they seem. And most concerning is that many people, upon realizing they're feeling unwell, despite consuming a food considered healthy, make hasty decisions to try to solve the problem. A very common mistake is completely cutting oats from the diet. The person feels bad, doesn't understand why, and decides to eliminate oats altogether, believing it's the villain. But, as we've said, the problem isn't with oats, but with how they're used. By cutting out the food without guidance, one risks losing the benefits it could bring if consumed properly. Another frequent mistake is replacing oats with even worse foods. Some people, upon abandoning porridge, go back to consuming white breads, cookies, processed cereals, or even desserts for breakfast. Foods full of refined flour, hidden sugars, and almost no nutritional value. And this ends up worsening symptoms even more, bringing more imbalances and even aggravating cases of uncontrolled blood sugar, intestinal constipation, and weight gain. There are also those who seek quick solutions on the internet, and this, unfortunately, has become increasingly common. The person watches a short video with an isolated tip, a miracle recipe, a recommendation without basis, and tries to apply it to their daily life. The problem is that each organism has its particularities, especially in old age. What works for a younger, more active person with a different rhythm of life can be disastrous for someone with a slower metabolism, who takes medications or has some chronic condition. The lack of personalized guidance means these adjustments not only don't solve the problem, but often make it worse. But if you've come this far and identified with any of these points, it's important to remember, all of this has a solution. There's no guilt in having followed what seemed right. The truth is that many people go through this. These are habits we learn by listening to others, watching television, trying to copy what works for younger people or those with a different routine. And there's nothing wrong with wanting to improve. The issue is that now, with more knowledge, it's possible to make better decisions, respecting your body, your time, and your needs. So, take a deep breath and be calm. The idea here isn't to frighten or cause confusion. On the contrary, The proposal is to give you clarity to understand what is happening and, most importantly, to show that improvement is possible. That with small adjustments, a lot can change. That the discomfort you feel after meals, difficulty with your bowels, fatigue, or even weight gain may indeed be linked to how certain foods are being used. But that, by changing this with care and affection, results will appear. In the next section, we're going to talk about exactly that. We will show practical solutions for each of these 5 mistakes, explain how to adapt oat consumption in a healthy, balanced, tasty way that's easy to apply in your daily life. Everything designed so you can continue enjoying the benefits of this food without harming your health. And the best part, safely, respecting your body and your routine. Many people go through this and make these mistakes without realizing it. But stay calm, because in the next section we'll talk about what really works. We'll walk together so you can have more comfort, more well-being, and more peace of mind in your choices. Because taking care of health in senior years can be simple, pleasant, and light, and you deserve this care. Let's move together to the next step. The time has come to turn the key. After everything we've discussed so far, now is the moment to discover how to solve, in a simple and effective way, those habits with oats that were hindering your health. And the best part, without having to give up this beloved food that is so present in many people's routines. Because with the right adjustments, oats can become your ally again. Now tell me here in the comments, where are you from and did you identify with any of the habits we've discussed so far? It's very good to know who we're talking to, because this helps make everything even closer, more human. Let's start by talking about the right type of oats. Many people don't know, but there are different forms of oats for sale, and each has a different impact on the body. If you're looking for a more natural option, prefer thick flake oats or whole grain oats. They undergo less processing, are richer in fiber, and help the intestines function better. Avoid instant versions or those with added flavors. Besides losing nutrients in the process, they usually have additives and hidden sugars that aren't good, especially for those with sensitive intestines or who tend to have high blood sugar. If this made sense to you, share it with someone who also needs this information. It can make all the difference. Another fundamental point is preparation. Oats should not be consumed just anyway. Ideally, they should be cooked or soaked before consumption. This helps neutralize natural substances that make mineral absorption difficult and digestion harder. If you like porridge, cook it on low heat, slowly. If you prefer it cold, as with overnight oats, soak the flakes in the refrigerator for at least 8 hours. This makes all the difference in digestive comfort and in how your body uses the nutrients. Now let's talk about balanced combinations. Oats alone are not a complete meal, but they can become much more nutritious when combined with other foods that complement their action. Fresh fruits like bananas, apples, or papaya are excellent options. They bring vitamins, minerals, and make the meal tastier. Seeds like chia, flaxseed, or sunflower help increase the fiber content and good fats. And a bit of protein, like unsweetened natural yogurt, a hard-boiled egg on the side, or even a spoonful of sugar-free peanut butter can complete the meal in an intelligent way. One of the big secrets is knowing how to balance. Don't overdo the portion. 3 tablespoons of oats per day are already enough to bring the expected benefits. More than that, the body may start to feel overwhelmed. And if you've already had symptoms like bloating or fatigue after consuming oats, try reducing the amount and observe how your body reacts. Small adjustments make big differences. Another important point is fitting oats into your lifestyle. It's no use copying someone else's recipe if it doesn't make sense for you. Ask yourself, what's the best time for me to consume oats? In the morning? As an afternoon snack? When do I feel best? The important thing is that it enters your routine with lightness, without pressure, and without discomfort. The best time is when you feel good. Speaking of which, many people ask me, what is the best time to consume oats? For most people, breakfast is a good choice. It helps provide satiety, regulates the intestines, and provides energy for the day's activities. But this can vary. Some people prefer to eat in mid-morning or as an afternoon snack. That's fine. The important thing is to observe how your body feels. The answer is within you. Now, if you have diabetes, sensitive intestines, or any specific condition, it's ideal to pay even greater attention. In these cases, professional guidance is essential. But generally, what helps a lot is always associating oats with foods rich in protein and good fats, as this reduces glycemic impact. Additionally, avoiding adding sugar, honey, or other sweeteners can greatly improve how your body responds. And there's more. Starting to pay attention to what you feel after eating is one of the best paths. Your body talks to you all the time. Do you feel lightness, energy, and well-being? Or do you feel heaviness, tiredness, bloated stomach? These are clear signs that deserve your attention. Good nutrition is one that doesn't give you trouble, doesn't generate doubt, and leaves you at peace with your body. If you like content like this, click like, subscribe, and activate the bell to receive more health and wellness tips. This is a way to continue this conversation with us and stay up to date with everything that can help in your quality of life journey. And even if you've made some mistakes in the past or have followed a path that didn't work out so well, it's never too late to start over. Every change begins with a decision, and your decision to seek information to understand what might be better for you is already a big step. Small daily choices have the power to transform your health, your well-being, and your relationship with food. And if you want to solve this once and for all, check out the link we've left here in the description with more detailed guidance. There you'll find specific content for your life stage, with tips specially designed for those who want to live longer and better. And since we're talking about well-being, it's worth remembering that nutrition is just one part of healthcare. When we combine a balanced eating routine with movement, good nights of sleep, and moments of pleasure, the body responds even better. And it doesn't have to be complicated. Walking a little every day, drinking water frequently, sleeping well, and allowing yourself moments of calm make all the difference. Many people think they need to change everything at once, but it doesn't have to be that way. The most important thing is to take one step at a time, at your own pace, with awareness and kindness. If today you understand a little more about how to adapt oat consumption to your routine, that's already a victory. Because true change happens gradually when we lovingly choose what's good for our body and heart. And always remember, there's no right age to start taking care of yourself. Each day is a new chance to make better choices. It doesn't matter if you're 60, 70, 80 or more. The body appreciates every gesture of attention, and over time you'll feel it. More lightness, more energy, more joy in living. So take this moment to look at yourself with more care. Use the information we've shared here as a starting point. Test it in your daily life. Observe, adjust, and celebrate each small achievement. Because when we take care from the inside out, everything improves. It's never too late to take care of yourself. Small changes make a big difference, and you deserve to feel good every day. With information and attitude, health improves. With care and patience, everything transforms. Thank you for walking with us until here. May this journey be light, conscious, and full of well-being. Your health thanks you. Your body is your life companion. Take care of it with love. You deserve to live with health, peace, and freedom.